Welcome everyone to Nitro Maniac TV's Wrestling Unlimited. I'm Kellen Nitro, and just want to take a quick look at the final two quote-unquote season premieres here. I'm recording these videos on Saturday, October 5th, 2019. And the first show we're going to take a look at, and this one is my take on NXT of October 2nd, 2019. This is the show that ran parallel to AEW's Dynamite pilot that was running on TNT. This was the first 2-hour NXT show on USA, and I know that this one probably wouldn't be classified as a quote-unquote season premiere. They've already done about 2 weeks of TV on USA prior to this, but this was the first episode of NXT that completely ran 2 hours in that Wednesday night time slot on USA. And it's interesting for that aspect, and it's also interesting for the aspect that this is the show that ran parallel to AEW Dynamite in the States on TNT. So the Wednesday Night War began in earnest on Tuesday, and by now you've seen all the dirt sheet reports and that stuff of the ratings and everything, and how AEW Dynamite did a 1.4, and this only did about 800,000 or so. It wasn't for lack of trying. However, there are some, I don't want to say issues, but there's some things that WWE could look at and improve upon with this product to go head-to-head with AEW. And, of course, this is absolutely ludicrous because a few months ago we were looking at NXT as like the flagship for every WWE programming, or how WWE programming should be, I should say, going forward. But anyway, this is just my take of the matches and everything that we've seen on the card. We'll open things up with arguably the match of the night and maybe a match of the year candidate. The NXT title match between Adam Cole and Matt Riddle went 20 solid minutes with Cole retaining the NXT title. This match clicked all the boxes. It is definitely the match of the night from both programs. And when you looked at what it was going heads up against on AEW with Cody and Sammy Guevara, and then the Jericho thing right after it, and then it kind of transitioned into the Cutler MJF match with the time the time run, I should say, this, because this was a 20-minute affair over on NXT. This was incredible. This was, Riddle just coming off of that hot feud with Killian Dane, finally getting a NXT title shot again against Adam Cole, the big heel champion that everybody loves, just due to the fact that the Undisputed Era is over big time with the NXT fans. So, yeah, this match clicked all the boxes. Nothing I can add to what everybody has said about it. I pretty much echo the same sentiments. This thing was amazing and match of the night, and it'll be a match of the year contender for WWE for sure for the end of the year. This was just amazing. Great to watch. Post-match, Finn Balor returns to NXT and challenges Adam Cole basically for that NXT championship. So with Balor coming back, maybe you think it's a one-on-one match with Cole, or maybe it's a one-on-one match with the fella who returned later on in the evening for the NXT Championship at War Games. Maybe we get a triple threat with Cole, Balor, and Ciampa? I'd pay to see that. That'd be a lot of fun. I don't know about you guys, but that's a main event worthy of my, it's $12.99 up here in Canada now. I think it's gone up $1. Yeah, we get shafted like that at times. You should see the on-demand, the rigmarole it is to get in there. It's amazing. Velveteen Dream issues a challenge to Roderick Strong and the North American title. Dream came out on the velvet couch, surrounded by a bunch of gorgeous ladies, and basically issues the challenge that he wants his belt back. So I think they're laying the groundwork for War Games and that card off of the show, and just kind of building up to what we can expect to see, or maybe even in the coming weeks. We'll have to wait and see what's going on. Next match, Io Shirai defeating Mia Yim. Decent TV match. Io's heel character is good. There's a great basis to it. Of course, the basis of NXT is workers trying to apply themselves and adapt your style to the WWE system in the ring, because it's a completely different system. It's Vince's system, whereas if you were to go to AEW, New Japan, etc., it's kind of more Wild West, if you want to use that vernacular. So, both Mia and Io put on a very entertaining match. It was better than anything on Raw, definitely this week. Told a great story, kind of put Io over as a heel, and Mia's firmly established right now as a face in the women's division. It's just, they have such a logjam of contenders for Baszler and that belt right now, that it's almost time to maybe move Baszler off of that championship. The problem is she is such a dominant champion. Who are they going to pair with Baszler to knock her off? That's the thing. So I was thinking along the lines, and this adds to the logjam. And this is about the same point in the show where I thought about it and just all of a sudden brainwave. What say you of an individual like Asuka maybe coming back down from SmackDown or Raw or wherever she ends up, or maybe she gets drafted to NXT, with the hearsay being that NXT will have some draft picks to bring back to their brand on the draft show coming up next week. So we'll see what happens off of that. I'm not exactly sure if that would add or that would even hinder the situation, but I'm just kind of looking at the pattern of things right now, and with the Kabuki Warriors not really doing too much on SmackDown, Asuka being the most dominant women's champion, and don't forget, she didn't get beat for the belt. She had to give it up because she got called up to the main roster. Might be a look-see to see what happens with that. Johnny Gargano and Shane Thorne have been building this program, kind of a mini program over the past few weeks on NXT TV, through the transition to the USA Network, and now finally on the first 2-hour show on the USA Network, we finally get a chance to see them head-to-head, one-on-one in this contest. This was, again, a great match. Thorne trying to establish his heel persona now a little bit. Working so long in that tag team, TM61 or TMDK, whichever you prefer. You kind of forget that both of those guys were amazing singles wrestlers as well, coming out of Australia, New Zealand area, and they've just brought it to NXT. It was a matter of injury issues, I think, for both guys that kind of derailed the team or the momentum of that team. And then with Nick Miller choosing to go to New Japan, which was a great choice for him, he fits in very well over there and is well on his way, I think, to an IWGP either junior tag run or a junior heavyweight run with that belt over on that side. Shane Thorne was kind of left as an afterthought, maybe left to his own devices a little bit. But again, thinking outside the box, getting together with Brennan Williams, i.e. Dio Madden, and Dakota Kai, and doing the video game streams that the three of them were doing over the past few months and that stuff, kind of got themselves over with a lot of fans and everything. So now the crossover appeal of like the I don't want to even say esports, but the e-gaming fans and the Twitch TV fans and that stuff coming into NXT, they got two people to cheer for now, or to root for. Shane Thorne on the men's side, and of course Dakota Kai on a women's side as well. And I don't think it matters if their current character alignments are heel or face. I think they'll have a fan base off of that. So that's how important it is to do side projects, everybody. If the main thing isn't working out, get involved in a side project and get it going. Because I think basically Dio Madden got his main roster commentary spot on Raw basically because of the streaming work and the Twitch stuff that he was doing. They are very hilarious in their streams that they do, and the streams are actually really watchable. I remember watching one for about 3 hours one night where they brought in like Tegan Knox from NXT. I think Rhea Ripley was part of it too, and just a whole group of them, and it was one of the most hilarious things I've seen internet-wise outside of Funhouse all year. So, it was a lot of fun. So, but anyway, this match here, Gargano definitely kind of reestablishing himself into either belts chase. Gargano trying to reestablish himself either on the NXT title side or the North American title side, and work his way again back up through the roster. Maybe give back to some of the other guys who haven't really had the chance to. And it was fun. It was a great television showcase match for both guys. I don't think either guy got hurt by it whatsoever. NXT Women's Championship was next. Shayna Baszler, the champion, defeating Candice LeRae via submission to retain the title. LeRae, again, puts up a valiant fight in her matches with Shayna. The problem is Shayna right now is the 6 million pound steamroller that just decimates everybody. And maybe that's the thing, is we need an infusion of women from either the main roster coming back down, and this is why the draft's coming at kind of a good time, but it's coming back down to NXT or whatever the deal is, which is why I'm kind of siding towards this whole Shayna Baszler Asuka deal right now, and seeing if something comes out of that, maybe out of the draft, because I think that there might be definitely a kind of a no-brainer match for either War Games or later on down the line between the two of them for the NXT Women's title over the beef that, again, Asuka never lost the title, and Baszler herself kind of, is the current steamrolling champion and has held on to it the longest. So, again, this match here between LeRae and Baszler, they sold the arm a lot in this match. There was an issue outside the ring where LeRae got her arm, severely injured via the steps via Baszler when the battle kind of rolled out of the outside of the ring. Prior to that, LeRae was, kind of doing that plucky babyface offense a little bit and that stuff. So, yeah, it was a really, again, better than average TV match. All these matches were. I think going head to head with what was going on AEW Dynamite at the time, where it might have been Riho and Nyla Rose for the AEW Women's Championship, I think it just suffered just due to the fact that Baszler's been the champion a long time, and the second thing is everybody was checking out the shiny new toy on Wednesday rather than, all the rest of their stuff. So I wouldn't blame the workers there. I would just, chalk it up that, maybe we need to launch that new direction or go with a new direction with Baszler. Hypothetically, that's what I'm saying with the Asuka thing, but, what say you? Put it below. We then had Pete Dunne take on Danny Burch in, again, another real short TV match. Dunne got the win via pinfall, a real filler match here. Nothing really explosive other than the fact that you just had two NXT UK guys just beating the hell out of each other, which was awesome. Damian Priest then slides into the ring. The former Punishment Martinez of Ring of Honor makes his presence known, and this was really kind of his first real, I guess, high-profile feud, kind of kicking off with Pete Dunne. So this could be a lot of fun coming up in the next few, I guess, days, weeks, months. I don't think this is something being built for War Games. I think this is probably being something that's built for NXT TV in the coming weeks. Main event spot, Wale leading out the Street Profits, the former NXT Tag Team Champions, to take on Fish and O'Reilly, the Undisputed Era, for the NXT Tag Team titles. This match was, a kind of a throwback to the early NXT days on the WWE Network, and even before then. They used to crank out really good tag team matches all the time back when they were kind of focusing on tag teams back in 2013 and 2014 and building it up at full sail before. There was two things that they were really good at doing: building up tag teams and then also building up women's competitors as well that were drastically different than what was going on the main roster, obviously. So this was kind of a throwback to those days. I really enjoyed this match. I thought it was I actually thought it was better than I actually thought this was the better of the two main events compared to the 6-man kind of angle schmoz thing that was happening over on AEW Dynamite between the Elite and Santana, Ortiz, and Jericho at that point. But, the shows kind of ironically end almost in the same fashion where, you have Jericho kind of establishing a new faction, and then on the NXT side, an established faction getting the one up on, the contenders on the NXT side, with the exception of this. Cole comes out to celebrate with his buddies, and all of a sudden the lights go down, the music hits, and Ciampa makes his return, sans neck brace. It looks like he's ready to go, and as I talked about earlier in the video, it seems like all signs are pointing towards NXT War Games and Balor, Ciampa, and Adam Cole going into a triple threat match for the NXT title. So all in all, I will give this an 8 out of 10. I thought it was a very solid NXT episode. I think it laid the groundwork for a lot of things that we'll see coming up in the weeks and months to go on NXT TV. So it should be a lot of fun. And the Wednesday Night Wars started in earnest. AEW may have gotten the first shot across the bow in this battle, but both numbers were kind of, they weren't, wrestling boom type numbers for ratings. A 1.4 versus an 800,000 still is kind of, niche TV at this point. We need to be talking about, the Raw and SmackDown type numbers where they're pulling, a 2 or a 2.5 to really start talking about barbs being thrown. But anyways, throw your opinions below. Review of the SmackDown on Fox pilot is coming. I'm Kellen Nitro. Later days. Happy wrestling watching. And we will see you next time on Nitro Maniac TV's Wrestling Unlimited. Take care.